Disclaimer. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. The compounds and ingredients discussed are presented in the context of publicly available research and athlete skincare practices. Regulations can change, and athletes should always verify current rules with their athletic commission, WADA, or USADA before using any substance. Nothing in this episode is medical advice, and athletes should consult qualified professionals before using any products discussed. Today we are talking about something that almost never gets discussed in combat sports, and that is topical peptides and skin support compounds for fighters. Most conversations about peptides in athletics focus on injections and performance enhancement, which immediately runs into regulatory issues with organizations like WADA and USADA. But there is a completely different category that sits in a much safer space for athletes, and that is topical peptides used on the skin. Mixed martial artists, wrestlers, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu athletes put their skin through absolute warfare. Constant friction, matte exposure, sweat, bacteria, cuts, abrasions, and inflammation create the perfect storm for skin damage and infections. Fighters train hard, but the skin often gets neglected until there is already a problem. That is where topical peptides and skin support compounds can come into play. Topical peptides are small chains of amino acids that are applied directly to the skin rather than injected into the body. Because they stay localized to the skin surface and do not enter systemic circulation in meaningful amounts, they are generally treated the same way as cosmetic skincare ingredients rather than performance-enhancing substances. This distinction is important because WADA and USADA regulate substances that affect systemic physiology or athletic performance, not cosmetic skincare ingredients used externally.
Think about it this way.
When a fighter puts on moisturizer, uses antibiotic ointment on a cut, or applies a skin barrier cream, those products are not considered doping agents. Topical peptides used in skincare are operating in the same category. So, what peptides are we actually talking about here? One of the most studied topical peptides in skin science is GHKCU, also known as copper peptide. This peptide naturally exists in human plasma and has been studied for decades for its role in tissue repair, collagen production, and skin remodeling. When used topically, GHKCU has been shown to support skin regeneration and reduce inflammation. For fighters who experience frequent skin abrasions or irritation from mats and gloves, this type of peptide can help support the skin's natural recovery process. Another well-known topical peptide is matrixyl. Matrixyl is actually a peptide complex designed to stimulate collagen production in the skin. It is widely used in anti-aging skincare, but its benefits extend beyond cosmetics. Healthy collagen structure improves the resilience and integrity of skin. For athletes constantly dealing with friction, chafing, and surface injuries, stronger skin structure can help reduce damage over time. Then there is SNAP-8, sometimes referred to as a Botox-like peptide in skincare circles. While its cosmetic role is usually discussed in terms of wrinkle reduction, the underlying mechanism involves reducing repetitive muscle contraction signals in superficial facial muscles. For athletes who suffer from chronic facial tension or skin creasing from repeated impacts, peptides like this can support skin relaxation and elasticity. Another topical peptide that is gaining attention is AHKCU. This is another copper-binding peptide similar to GHKCU, but with slightly different biological roles. It has been studied for its potential role in skin regeneration and hair follicle stimulation. On the skin, it may help support wound healing and cellular turnover. Now, when we talk about fighters, we also have to talk about the brutal environment their skin lives in. Wrestling mats, jiu-jitsu mats, and MMA cages are notorious breeding grounds for bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Athletes constantly worry about things like staph infections, ringworm, and herpes gladiatorum. Peptides themselves are not antimicrobials, but they can support the skin's barrier and repair systems. A strong skin barrier is one of the body's best defenses against infection. When skin is damaged or inflamed, pathogens have a much easier entry point. Topical peptide skincare products are often combined with supportive ingredients like panthenol, niacinamide, glycerin, hyaluronic acid, and ceramides. These ingredients reinforce the skin barrier and maintain hydration. Hydrated skin is more resilient and less prone to cracking or tearing. Another interesting category involves antimicrobial peptides that occur naturally in the body. Human skin already produces antimicrobial peptides as part of the innate immune system. These peptides help defend against bacteria and fungi on the skin surface. While synthetic versions used as drugs would likely fall under regulatory review, cosmetic formulations that support the skin environment without acting as pharmaceutical agents are widely used in dermatology and skincare. For fighters, the practical approach is not to think of topical peptides as performance enhancers, but as skin maintenance tools. Just like strength training strengthens muscles and conditioning improves endurance, skin care helps maintain the largest organ of the body. Let's talk about the actual situations fighters deal with. Picture a fighter finishing a 2-hour grappling session. Their skin is red, irritated, and covered in sweat. Tiny abrasions from the mat are everywhere. Most fighters jump in the shower and move on with their day, but that irritation continues to develop for hours afterward. Applying a topical peptide serum after showering can help calm inflammation and support the skin's repair process. Peptides like GHKCU combined with soothing ingredients like aloe or panthenol can create a recovery environment for the skin. Another scenario involves repeated glove friction during striking training. The knuckles and wrists take constant abuse. Skin can crack, dry out, or develop calluses that split open. A peptide-enriched cream applied to the hands and wrists can help maintain elasticity and tissue integrity. Then there is facial damage. Fighters take impacts, get scraped in clinches, and deal with the constant pressure of headgear and gloves. Skin repair peptides can help reduce visible irritation and support healing of minor abrasions. The key concept here is localized support rather than systemic enhancement. That distinction keeps topical peptides firmly in the skincare category rather than the doping category. Athletes should still follow one simple rule. If something is injected or taken internally and it alters physiology in a performance-related way, it is likely to fall under anti-doping regulations. If something is applied to the skin as a cosmetic ingredient and does not alter systemic physiology, it generally does not fall under those rules. Another important factor is transparency. Fighters should always check ingredient lists and avoid products making exaggerated performance claims. A skincare serum that supports skin repair is very different from a compound claiming to accelerate muscle growth or dramatically increase endurance. Many fighters already use topical products without thinking twice about it. Things like arnica gels, menthol creams, magnesium sprays, and barrier ointments are common in gyms. Peptide skincare simply fits into that same toolbox. There is also a psychological benefit. Fighters spend so much time focusing on training intensity that recovery routines often get ignored. A simple skincare ritual after training can become part of the broader recovery mindset. Shower, clean the skin, apply a protective product, and allow the body to recover. Let's also talk about prevention. One of the best strategies in combat sports is preventing skin breakdown before it starts. Healthy, hydrated skin is less likely to tear during friction. Peptide skincare can help maintain the structural proteins that keep skin strong. Hydration, barrier support, and collagen maintenance all contribute to skin resilience. Over time, that can reduce the number of cuts, abrasions, and infections fighters experience. Another factor that often gets overlooked is inflammation. Training hard creates inflammatory stress on the skin. Repeated friction and sweat exposure can lead to redness, irritation, and barrier dysfunction. Peptides like copper peptides have been studied for their ability to support anti-inflammatory signaling in skin tissue. When inflammation is reduced, healing can occur more efficiently. It is also worth mentioning that topical peptides are widely used in dermatology clinics and cosmetic skincare around the world. They are not experimental compounds hiding in the shadows. Many have decades of research behind them and appear in mainstream cosmetic formulations. For fighters who want to stay within the boundaries of athletic regulations, focusing on topical skincare ingredients is a smart approach. They can support recovery without entering the complicated territory of injectable compounds. Another practical tip is hygiene. No skincare product can replace basic hygiene practices in combat sports. Showering immediately after training, washing gear regularly, and keeping mats clean are essential. Peptide skincare should be viewed as a supplement to those habits, not a replacement. Let's talk about the future for a moment. As sports science evolves, we're seeing more attention given to skin health in athletes. Skin is the first line of defense against infection and environmental stress. For grapplers and fighters, it is literally the interface between their body and the training surface. Topical peptides represent one of the most promising categories in advanced skincare. Researchers continue to study how short amino acid chains interact with skin cells, collagen networks, and repair mechanisms. The goal is not to create superhuman performance, but to support the body's natural repair systems. Fighters already spend thousands of hours strengthening muscles, improving cardio, and sharpening technique. Taking care of the skin should be viewed with the same level of importance. A simple routine might involve cleansing the skin after training, applying a peptide serum to irritated areas, and following with a barrier cream to lock in hydration. That process takes less than 5 minutes, but can make a noticeable difference over time. Another advantage of topical peptides is versatility. They can be used on the face, hands, neck, and other areas prone to friction. Some athletes even apply them to areas that frequently experience mat burn, such as the knees and elbows. Consistency is the key. Just like training adaptations occur gradually, skin improvements also occur gradually. Regular use supports long-term resilience. It is also important to remember that skincare is not just about appearance. For fighters, it is about durability. Healthy skin means fewer infections, faster healing, and less downtime from training. Combat sports are already brutal enough. Anything that helps the body recover and stay protected without crossing regulatory boundaries is worth understanding. Disclaimer: regulations regarding substances and athletic competition can change at any time. Athletes should always confirm the current rules with their governing organizations before using any product or ingredient. The information discussed here is educational and should not replace professional medical or regulatory guidance. Thanks for listening, keep learning, and stay curious.